Okay, so today I am joined by Zana Jablan Musa, who is our operations director at Sovereign Corporate Services MENA. I thought we could just talk today a little bit about virtual assets. I feel like it's one of those industries that is just so fast growing, and there's just so much news and media coverage about virtual assets, crypto, blockchain, all of those kinds of topics. Yes. UAE is kind of leading this kind of area industry in the region. Do we think that, Qatar, Saudi, the likes of other jurisdictions around the GCC will probably follow suit with a kind of similar regulation?
Bahrain is the one actually who was issuing, I think, the first, especially for exchanges.
Yeah.
They issued, I think, Rain is one of the local exchanges that was licensed by central bank in Bahrain. So Bahrain has quite a solid regulation from the central bank in Bahrain when it comes to virtual assets. And I think Qatar is trying to follow. We do have an office in Qatar, so I think we need to get more info. But from what I'm seeing, kind of from my contacts, LinkedIn, and usual networking, there is movements in Qatar.
Yeah.
Saudi, there is a lot of networking, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen that there will be a big initiative to roll out like official regulation. But again, that can change. We've seen Saudi is moving fast.
They do. They make changes very quickly, don't they? Exactly. And they just kind of follow suit if something's being done really well somewhere else. It's very interesting. Dubai is very good, or the UAE in general, aren't they? Very good at recognizing big areas of interest and moving really quickly on that. Do you think there's still room for growth in the virtual assets industry here? Are all the big players already here, or are there still loads more that, are still kind of finding their way into the UAE, into the region?
I think there is still a lot more to come. Basic regulations are here, especially from SCA, but we are still waiting for different parts of virtual asset aspects and trading to be kind of regulated, especially, let's say, for example, futures. VARA is still yet to issue. There are other guidelines on that. AGGM has just introduced recently Foundation for DeFi. So there's always new movements, new initiatives, new services. And because everything is quite new, so we have only a couple of actually operating licenses.
Okay.
Fully operating licenses where they have fully established, getting their bank accounts, get a full operation license from the regulators. There is a number of us in the pipeline going through the licensing right now, but we are seeing still a lot of inquiries about coming here from different parts of the world, from US, from Asia, Europe. So I think still over the coming 3 to 5 years, we're seeing a lot of movements in that industry.
Yeah, so definitely a space to watch.
Yeah, space to watch. I cannot say there are challenges, especially I would say the biggest challenge is local banking. While we've seen huge improvement in operating bank accounts for us, still client accounts. It is uncertainty, and there is central bank has not followed the rapid change when it comes to the local regulators for VASPs and virtual assets. So I think there needs to be another big push on that from the banking side, and I think the other aspect is insurance. Insurance for virtual assets, especially exchange and all that, is quite costly.
Yeah.
So and insurance is part of regulations. So while as the regulators are open to discuss the ways you need to insure your wallets, your assets, still insurance for virtual asset space is more costly than general insurance.
Yeah. So there's definitely still some things to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Okay. Final comments on just the virtual assets industry and how it's developed over the last essentially only 2 years, really. Do you think that they're making enough progress, that, we've seen enough movement, or is there lots of room for growth, or do you think that they're growing at a steady pace?
I would say it is a steady pace. It could be better, or definitely. I think the market is requesting
Yeah,
more.
it's demanding it, isn't it?
Demanding.
Yeah. So keeping up with that demand's been quite tricky.
It is tricky because we've seen now, Dubai especially has become like a networking oasis for all the crypto events. All the big events are here. We have a lot of fintech events, and fintech was always big here. So we've seen a lot of players coming in, demanding more, expecting more. So this is expectation for Dubai and UAE is always high. So even with the with remarkable progress that we did, still I think the expectation is more. So I think IDGM is quite solid because they have their own regulation more than 2 years, so they've been a couple more years there. So their regulation is solid. But I do feel like that VASP think it's a bit costly and it's not competitive towards the startup space of virtual asset industry and blockchains. Vara is there a bit more, on a flexible side. It's quite new. It's there are more options because it's not only one free zone. You can have different types of free zones. Some more cost effective when it comes to office space. So there is more space there for even startups to look at licensing. But still, I think we need more. Russell Hema has kind of a free zone for digital and virtual asset space, but it's still in development. It's not kind of taken off yet. So we'll see what's happening there. So it is a space to be watched, and I think we will see a lot of changes in the coming year.
And then just like last comment, if someone wanted to get started, what do you advise that they do in terms of process, where to begin?
I would definitely, if we would need to look, is that already established VASP somewhere else, or is it a completely new startup? That will influence a lot where to go. Usually, what we see now is that we have VASPs that are based from somewhere else coming here, looking at regulation, looking at expansion. So for these type of clients, they can look both, all three regulators. Depends what is the budget, what do they want to achieve, what is the actually license type, because it's different for brokers to exchange to custodian. Can they comply with the regulations? So this is initial discussions that we have with them.
Take it all into consideration and then lead them down the right
route. And they need to be ready to actually invest the budget in complying with the regulation, and that's a process that will take a couple of months. So it depends on where they are in their own growth process. Sometimes we have startups that are not ready for regulation because they would not be able to meet the requirements and criteria and investments that they need, share capital, investments, cost of license, cost of the regulator. There's also annual cost of monitoring and filing and everything. And you need to have at least minimum one MLRO and compliance officer. Office space, physical office space is required. There are certain things that from the offset, will exclude somebody from coming here.
So definitely getting proper advice on this area in this jurisdiction is essential.
It is essential, definitely at the beginning, especially if you are in that screening stage and searching for information and assessing, are you ready to actually be regulated? That's the key.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.